Hi everyone, it's Coach Fred with another look at Practice Test 1 Math Non-Calculator from the official College Board Study Guide. So this is question number 19, so we're getting near the end, and I know we're probably running out of time, and this could take us a long time, this question, but it doesn't need to. It says, in a right triangle, one angle measures x. Okay, so we've got some information now. We have a triangle, and it's right. So in my mind, I like to picture that. I have a right triangle. So I know one angle is 90 degrees. The other angles have to add to 90 because the sum of the angles of a triangle have to add to 90 degrees. It says one angle is x degrees. And it says where the sine of x is 4/5. So let's remember that the sine of x is the ratio of the opposite leg to the hypotenuse. Okay, so that means we can use the ratios 4 and 5. We can use those numbers as values. So opposite would be there and hypotenuse would be there. So hopefully you're seeing this as a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So this question is asking, what is cosine of 90 minus x? All right, so this is actually just saying that it wants the complement of x. 90 minus x, if two angles are complementary, they're complementary. They're two angles that are equal to 90 degrees. So if it says this, it just wants the complement. Well, one thing you should have learned in your Algebra 2 class when you learned about trigonometry is that sine and cosine are complementary functions. So that means that the sine of any number, so sine of, say, 10, is going to give you, is the same as the cosine of, say, 80. These two numbers, if they're complementary, that means they add to 90, then their values at those values will be equal. Let me give you another example. Sine of 20 would be equal to the cosine of 70. The sine of 50 would be equal to the cosine of 40. So that means that the sine of x would be equal to the cosine of 90 minus x. So if you can remember that and remember the complementary aspect of cosine and sine, well, then you would see that sine x equals 4/5. Then what is the cosine of 90 minus x? 4/5. Okay? All right, what's another approach? I guess another approach might be for you to find the angle, but this is on the non-calculator section of the test. So it would be really hard for you to get that angle unless you memorize the trig tables. So it's really a good idea to kind of recognize what this actually means. So, and I'm going to give you another example of how you can relate that. If I had a segment that was 90, say, feet long, okay, and I told you that this piece was x, from here to here was x, well, then this other part would have to be 90 minus whatever that is, so 90 minus x. So if I know that this angle is x and these two angles add to 90, well, then this angle would have to be 90 minus x. And remember, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so the adjacent to the 90 minus x would be 4/5. Again, giving us the same value if we recognized that they were complementary functions. All right, guys, I know that that's a little bit harder because it's probably been a while since you've done trig, but hopefully it gave you some things to think about. Have a great night.